We had a very good visit from Vice President Mike Pence yesterday, and I do want to say he has played an important role in the United States, both in the NAFTA process and in the discussions around the lifting of the 232 national security tariffs. He said to us in Rhode Island that the United States was seeking a win-win-win outcome, and that was a very important message. Canada's position continues to be the one we outlined right after the 232 steel and aluminum tariffs were lifted, and that is that we are now ready to proceed with ratification of NAFTA here in Canada. And as Canadians know, we began that process this week. Of course, the new NAFTA will enter into force only upon ratification in all three countries, and we are working closely. I am in close touch with my counterparts in Mexico and in the United States to be aware of their domestic processes. Our intention is, insofar as possible, to move in tandem with our partners. We have heard today publicly a reiteration from Mexican President López Obrador that Mexico intends to move ahead with the ratification of the new NAFTA. And that is a process which began in Mexico yesterday. We are, of course, aware of the border issue that Mexico and the United States are currently discussing. This is a bilateral issue, just as our discussions about the border we share with the United States are a bilateral Canada-U.S. issue. Thank you.
Do you really think that was helpful of Donald Trump to threaten to slap tariffs on Mexico? How do you think this helps the ratification of a deal you're trying to work out with these three countries?
So I think that really is a question for the White House. I'm paid in Canadian dollars, not in pesos or US dollars, and I speak for Canada, which is really a huge privilege. We did hear from President López Obrador that Mexico intends to move forward with its domestic ratification process. And I do want to underscore for people that Canada is in very close touch with our Mexican counterparts. As you know, they recently came to visit us for a bilateral meeting in Canada, in Toronto, and we are in close, I would say, pretty much constant contact.
If Trump is ready to put tariffs on Mexico, how worried is Canada that the threat of tariffs remains on the table despite signing and being on the way to ratifying USMCA?
So let me just emphasize that this border issue between Mexico and the United States is a bilateral issue, just as the border question or the management of our shared border with the United States is a bilateral issue between Canada and the United States. And of course, we are partners in a trilateral trade agreement, and that is an important North American partnership. But each country also does have bilateral issues, and we have really, really good ties at the moment with both the United States and Mexico. We're in very close, very regular contact at all levels, and we're of course talking to our partners and supporting them. This particular issue is a bilateral issue.
But thank you very much.